Hello everyone, this is Kooky217. I'm glad to see that everyone is liking What If Fasha Survived so far, and I'm sorry it took me so long to get part 3 out. So, without further ado, here is What If Fasha Survived part 3 for you guys. Hope you enjoy it. We last left off, Goku has met Bulma and brought her back home with him. Bulma introduces herself, but Fasha merely ignores the young girl and thinks about reminding Kakarot about their sparring sessions, but decides against it, remembering how Bardock was himself, a ladies' man when their people were still alive. Grandpa Gohan is delighted that Goku is making friends and tells the young Saiyan that girls are to be protected, respected, and revered. This comes at odds with Fasha, who tells him that a woman who cannot protect herself isn't worth their salt. On our planet, women didn't need men to protect them. We fought just as hard, if not harder, than the men, Fasha would say. Bulma would be offended by the statement, but a stern glare from Fasha would keep Bulma silent. Goku excitedly tells Fasha that Bulma is looking for these shiny orange orbs called Dragon Balls and that he needs to get Grandpa Gohan's 4-star ball. After convincing Grandpa Gohan to give her the 4-star ball, Goku and Bulma would head out on their adventure. Goku would try to convince Fasha to accompany them, but Fasha would have no interest in following children on adventure of any kind. Besides, she has no interest in believing in fairy tales such as balls that could grant any wish. She would tell Goku that if he wants to waste time on silly adventures to be her guest, but leave her out of it. Fasha would not be concerned for his safety on this weak planet, as Kakarot is more than capable of looking after himself. As a result, things would happen as normal. Goku and Bulma would meet Yamcha in the desert, the wish for panties is still made, they are still captured by the Pilaf gang, and Goku would turn Ozaru for the first time after Bulma tells him not to look at the full moon above him. The events here play the same, except here, having for Goku being a bit scared about the fact that his tail is gone after he wakes up. He knows that if Fasha finds out, he's going to get a huge scolding. Bulma suggests that Goku continues to accompany her on her adventure, and as a result, things continue on from here as normal. During the events of Fire Mountain, Goku tells Chi-Chi of his grandpa Gohan and his mother Fasha. The young Chi-Chi would fall for Goku as normal, and she would also be pleased about the fact that he lives with his grandpa and his mother. When questioned about his father, Goku would tell her that his mother told him that he died a long time ago. The young Saiyan would be very excited to show his mother the new move he learned watching Master Roshi perform the Kamehameha to put out Fire Mountain, as well as destroying the Ox King's home. When Goku returns home, he quickly tells Grandpa Gohan and Fasha about his adventures, but omits the details about what happened to his tail, fearing Fasha's wrath. He teaches Fasha the Kamehameha, and she's delighted to learn another valuable technique. Grandpa Gohan would be pleased to hear about his old pupil again, and also about the fact that Goku is going to train with him. Fasha at first would be apprehensive about this, feeling Kakarot can learn nothing from the weak species of this planet, but she is kindly reminded by Grandpa Gohan that Goku learned the Kamehameha from Master Roshi, to which Goku in turn taught her the technique. Also, Fasha learned through Grandpa Gohan how to sense ki without a scouter.
Fine, it isn't as if I have to worry about you anyway,
Fasha would say to the young Goku. When Goku departs to go train with Master Roshi and Krillin, Fasha would remain at Grandpa Gohan's place, training, eating, and occasionally talking with Grandpa Gohan when she feels like it. She never admits that she enjoys the old man's company. With Fasha remaining at Grandpa Gohan's, Goku trains with Master Roshi for the World Martial Arts Tournament as normal. Fasha would hear about this and would decide to enter as well in order to satisfy her need for a fight. As a result, Fasha would become Goku's final opponent.
Mom? That's right, Kakarot. Let's see what you've learned from Master Roshi, shall we?
Fasha would go on to defeat Goku after a close fight and become champion. This would leave Goku realizing that he still has a long way to go and also with a desire to train harder so that he could defeat his mother. After the tournament, the events of the Red Ribbon Army would start. During this time, Fasha again would remain with Grandpa Gohan as Goku explores the world. Goku would still meet General Tao, and since Goku is stronger here, the fight would see Goku defeat Tao a bit easier. General White does not grab Goku's tail as he's now more determined to keep it safe as his mother Fasha had instructed. The events of the Red Ribbon Army play out the same with Fasha not being there, and we go into the fight with King Piccolo. King Piccolo would be the first time the world would come under a major threat. When Goku finds Krillin dead at the World Martial Arts Tournament, Fasha would be there telling Goku that she knows how it feels to lose friends and comrades. Tearfully, Goku would tell Fasha that they need to stop whoever was responsible for the death of his friend. Since Fasha becomes champion twice, the celebratory dinner would have been for Fasha rather than Tien. Goku and Tien still become friends after he renounces Master Crane. Goku would find Tambourine, and with Fasha there watching, Goku would utterly destroy him. Since Tambourine is killed here, he cannot go and begin killing fighters under the orders of King Piccolo. Goku and Fasha would then go on to destroy the rest of King Piccolo's children. Fasha doesn't want Goku to have all the fun. When the time comes to fight King Piccolo, Goku, wanting to avenge Krillin's death, fights King Piccolo. Only this time, Goku isn't defeated as badly. When Fasha eventually steps in, King Piccolo regards her with disgust. "To think a wench such as yourself can defeat me? Pathetic. I'll make your descent to hell swift." When the fight begins, Fasha quickly beats King Piccolo into submission. With Fasha having a power level of over 2,000, there's no way King Piccolo could stand a chance. With King Piccolo now weakened, Master Roshi uses the Mafuba and traps King Piccolo in a jar, thus ensuring Roshi does not die in the fight against King Piccolo. With the battle with King Piccolo now over, Krillin would be wished back after Goku gathers the Dragon Balls. Kami would have no need to recreate the Dragon Balls, since the Dragon Balls were never destroyed, and Goku would not need to drink the Ultra Divine Water. His meeting with Korin and Yajirobe would happen much later in the story. Goku goes to train with Kami, and since Goku would already know how to fly without the Nimbus, he would simply fly up to the lookout. Goku would try to convince Fasha to come and train with him, but she would decline. "I don't want to be spoiled, Kakarot," she would tell him. "Show me what you've learned after you're done." Years pass, and Goku has grown into a young man. He meets Chi-Chi once again at the tournament, and their engagement goes as normal. Since there's no Piccolo Jr., thanks to Roshi using the Mafuba on a weakened King Piccolo, things go without incident. The fight between Goku and Fasha is much closer than last time, and after the tournament, Goku is wed to Chi-Chi as normal. During the celebrations, Fasha can be seen by herself with her arms folded and in a lovely white kimono. She is pleased to have been blessed with seeing Kakarot grow, but this dress doesn't suit her. And being around that perverted fool Roshi soured her mood. She should have killed him a long time ago, thinking that he could get away with touching her, so he should be glad that Grandpa Gohan had talked her out of it. The only thing about the wedding Fasha really enjoyed was the food paid for by Capsicor. Fasha slowly gets along with the Ox King and Chi-Chi, and when Gohan is born, she can't help but to feel a bit of joy over her growing family, although she wouldn't show it or admit it. To be able to see Kakarot fully grow and then living to see him produce offspring isn't something that normally happens during a Saiyan's life. Also, Grandpa Gohan is overjoyed that Goku named his son after him. Fasha's life now consists of sparring with Goku and holding baby Gohan. She still lives with Grandpa Gohan, but she spends most of her time at Goku's new home. Although she is somewhat happy with her new life, she never forgot about that murderous freak Frieza. It was wise of Bardock to send her here without a scouter so Frieza couldn't track them, but she also knew that Frieza would find them eventually. As much as she wanted to relax, she couldn't with the knowledge of that bastard still out there. When Gohan turns 5 years old, Goku convinces Fasha to come with him to see Master Roshi at his island. Grandpa Gohan would also come with, desiring to see his pupil once again after a long while. When Raditz finally comes to Earth, the farmer is still there, but there's no Piccolo Jr. to greet him afterwards. Raditz checks his scouter and is shocked to find a power level much higher than his.
What the? There's a power level of 2700 here. That's the strongest power level on this pathetic morsel. That has to be Kakarot.
Raditz knows he wouldn't stand a chance against Goku if the pair were to fight, but he would still carry out what he was sent here to do. He goes straight to Kami House to find Kakarot and his friends in fighting position.
I see you've grown, Kakarot, and also that you haven't completed your mission. You were supposed to eradicate all life on this planet. Why isn't it done?
Raditz would check his scouter to find that the strongest power level does not belong to Goku, which would confuse him. Goku, as normal, wouldn't know what he is talking about nor who he is. It isn't until Fasha steps out of the house does the conversation change.
Fasha? What in blazes are you doing here?
Raditz, so you survived. Bardock hoped that you would.
Goku looks to Fasha surprised.
Mom, you know this guy? Yes, Kakarot. This is your elder brother, Raditz.
Goku would be stunned upon hearing that he has an older brother, and Raditz would still question as to why Earth isn't destroyed.
Because there was no longer a need, Raditz,
Fasha would say to him.
I don't know if you're aware of this, but Frieza betrayed us.
Raditz would look at her in disbelief.
Betrayed? What do you mean, Fasha?
Raditz, is your father Bardock still alive?
Raditz, still trying to process what Fasha is saying, responds.
No. Frieza told me he died trying to save our people from a meteor that destroyed our planet. I thought you had died as well. Wait a minute. If you survived, is Taurus still alive as well?
Fasha shakes her head.
Raditz, it was Frieza who killed your father and everyone else.
Raditz is stunned upon hearing this. Fasha continues to explain, with Kakarot listening with confusion as well as intent. This is the first time he had heard about what truly happened to his father.
You probably remember me going to Planet Meat under Frieza's orders.
Yes, I remember Tora being excited about it.
It was a setup, Raditz. We were ambushed by Dodoria and his men when we arrived there. Dodoria tortured me and made me watch as they killed my crew. I was barely alive when your father found me. He placed me in a space pod and sent me here without a scouter so I couldn't be tracked. His final request was for me to care for your brother. After that, it's obvious now that Bardock died trying to stop that monster.
Preposterous! Why would Frieza...
Because we were getting too strong, Raditz. I heard it straight from Dodoria's mouth. As the saying, he fears you. It didn't matter how hard we worked or how often we bled for him. He fears your strength, so he wants you dead.
This is too much for Raditz to take in, let alone Kakarot. Raditz had been sent here to check and see if Kakarot had completed his mission and bring him back into the fold. Instead, he learned the truth about what happened to his people. Frieza had killed his father, his people, and was now going to bring his brother back and kill him if need be. A revelation that saw Raditz clench his fist in anger. Anger towards following that freak all this time and his own weakness. He knew he stood no chance against Frieza. Goku begins to question Fasha about who this Frieza character is, but Fasha merely tells him not to worry about that for now. When Raditz hears Goku refer to her as his mother, again he says,
Kakarot, Fasha is not our mother. She was killed with the rest of our people on planet Vegeta.
When Goku questions Fasha about this, Fasha only stares at him. The day that she had hoped for and dreaded had come.
Your brother is right, Kakarot. I'm not your real mother. Grandpa Gohan, who had been listening to the entire conversation, can only hang his head low in shame. Goku turns to his grandfather. Grandpa, did you know about this?
I did. Fasha had told me what had happened when she first came here. When you first called her your mother, I told Fasha to let you believe her to be your real mother. I did not want you to grow up without a mother in your life.
Here, Goku would react differently when he first learned of his origin. Upon learning that Fasha was not his real mother, Goku would be angry upon having this kept from him for so long. Raditz would then remove his scouter and say to Fasha,
Fasha, it was Prince Vegeta who sent me here.
Fasha would be surprised to learn that Vegeta is still alive.
The prince is still alive?
Yes, as well as Nappa. Now that they know that the two of you are alive, they'll come here themselves. I know they will.
Raditz knows that since he's failed in his task, he cannot go back to Vegeta. He would kill him. Raditz certainly won't go back to Frieza after learning the truth here, because Frieza would kill him.
How long will it take for them to get here? Fasha would ask. The news of the prince's survival brought her hope. Perhaps their plans for revenge on Frieza might be realized after all.
1 year. They most certainly will do away with this planet once they get here.
Goku would state that that won't happen on his watch, the fact that Fasha isn't his real mother forgotten about for the moment. Raditz, being the cautious saying that he is, would state that he's going to leave the planet. He knows too well the ruthlessness of Vegeta and Nappa. Fasha tells him that he could stay, but Raditz declines. He's got some thinking to do.
Brother, if you survive your fight with the prince, we'll meet again, you and I.
With that, Raditz leaves the planet, leaving the gang to ponder what to do about the Saiyans' imminent arrival. Goku, without another word, would leave Kame House. Fasha would say nothing and would go her separate way. With Fasha now alone, she would think about beating Raditz again and what he had said. Vegeta and Nappa would be there in a year and would destroy everything on this planet. It was good news that the prince was still alive, which would increase their chances for revenge against Frieza. But she also knew the prince. He was ruthless and merciless. Nappa was even more bloodthirsty than him. She had grown used to the peace this planet provided. No Frieza. She had Kakarot and the old man. She could fight on her own terms, and she had also grown fond of baby Gohan. Before, Fasha would have been glad to level this backwater planet to the ground and return to the prince with Kakarot in tow. But now, Fasha would then sense Kakarot approaching her.
What do you want, Kakarot?
Goku reveals to Fasha that Kami had arranged for him to go to King Kai's place for special training. When he refers to her as his mother, Fasha scoffs at him.
You heard the truth, Kakarot. I'm not your mother, so stop calling me that.
Goku would then sit next to Fasha.
I don't care what the truth is. You're my mother, Fasha. You have been my whole life.
Here, Goku would hug Fasha, but she would not return it. Instead, she would push him away after a while. Saiyans don't show any form of affection, and she would realize that this is part of Grandpa Gohan's influence. This was foreign for Fasha, and she didn't like it.
Whatever, Kakarot,
Fasha would say. Goku would then ask Fasha to train the other Z-Fighters before he goes to train with King Kai. Reluctantly, Fasha would agree to this, and Goku would fade away. Fasha was not very keen on meeting the prince again. She remembered how brutal the prince was, and he would have no problem destroying the planet and proceed to kill her and Kakarot in the process. As Bardock had asked, she would protect Kakarot even from the prince. Fasha would decide to train Gohan herself despite Chi-Chi's protests during Goku's absence in preparation for the Saiyans' arrival. The rest of the Z-Fighters would train by themselves as normal, but would be a bit stronger due to Fasha being there. Meanwhile, somewhere in the galaxy, Nappa and Vegeta had heard the conversation on their scouters. Vegeta, for one, was not very pleased with Raditz.
Raditz stinks. I agree, Nappa. He allowed himself to be talked down by that woman from Bardock's old crew. His weakness has cost us much. We'll have to take care of this matter ourselves. All right, I was getting bored. I'm looking forward to pounding those two weaklings to the ground. Unless, of course, she becomes my queen, Nappa. Through her, we can start a new Saiyan colony while we take steps on our revenge against Frieza. If she refuses me, we'll destroy her along with the rest of the planet. And if Raditz happens to be there, he'll die along with the rest of them.
Nappa smiles as the pair enter their space pods and make their year-long journey to Earth. And that's where I'll leave things. I hope everybody is enjoying the What If Fasha Survives segment so far. If you guys enjoy what you hear, then leave a comment below or just simply like the video. Until next time, guys, take care.